I just want to give you a bit of an insight into the AFL Enjoyers team. We're a bunch of unique individuals, Matsa, Sfenda, and Dean. We're going to engage with our minds and our hearts. We're going to exchange ideas, thoughts, and even our energy. And to speak from your heart, you need to have courage. You need to be honest and authentic. We're not always going to get it right, and sometimes you're not going to agree with us. But that's okay, because just like you, we care. Just like you, we're passionate about the game. So if you want to come along for the ride, join us at the AFL Enjoyers podcast, because we really enjoy the footy. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the AFL Enjoyers podcast. My name is Dean, joined as always by the boys, fellow enjoyers of the AFL, James Matsa and George Sfenda. How's it going, boys?
Very well, Dean.
Very well, man. How you going, Dino?
Doing okay, I think.
That's good, man. Just want to say, guys, if you haven't already subscribe to the channel, man. We're working really hard, weekly content, and we're working hard to do some weekly content even while a couple of us are going to be overseas. So the boys are hustling. We'd appreciate, the numbers to make us feel better about ourselves. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, this is the last round review for a little while. As mentioned, a few of the boys are off on a little well-deserved holiday. So
me and Mats are going off. We're going to celebrate in the sun.
That's it, man. That's it.
Dean's stuck here in the cold.
Watching North Melbourne.
Yeah, I know. See, I had to ditch Dean. I couldn't deal with the North Melbourne dramas anymore. It was just too much for me.
You're a smart man.
Dean's a strong man. He's a very strong man.
That's it. Thick skin, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Someone's going to cheer the boys here, mate, locally.
Yeah. Well,
that's it, man. Fly the flag of North Melbourne.
You'll bring a North Melbourne flag overseas. I'll bring a Carlton flag.
Yeah.
People ask us what that is. We'll say, I don't know.
man.
I did want to shout out, actually, some flowers to one of our loyal listeners and commenters, Choco. Shout out to you. Flowers to you, my friend. Thank you very much for the comments.
Big shout out to Choco, man. Really appreciate the support, man. Like, I'm not sure who it is, but like, I like...
It's Choco.
It's Choco. Of course. It is Choco. But it's nice when we have people that we don't really know commenting. It's nice.
Yeah, appreciate it, always.
Yeah. You're not a stranger anymore, Choco. Part of the Enjoyers family. Welcome.
Friend of the pod, man.
That's it.
Okay, so look, boys, let's get into the round that was. So Thursday night, the Tigers with a pretty big win over the Swans, especially considering both teams were going for the 8. It was sort of billed as, if you lose, that's it, you're done. I don't know.
I think that's true, by the way.
You reckon?
I think for Sydney-wise, yeah.
For Sydney it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, credit to the Tigers. It was a close game and they just pulled away late.
Yeah, similar story of like Sydney just, close enough but not good enough. They had most of the momentum in the first half, better in the first half, but then the Tigers were just too tough, and they just found a way to get it done. So they
had a bit of midfield dominance through, the ruck in Nankervis. He had a great game.
Monster, huh?
He absolutely monster.
He's out for a couple of weeks, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, bump. Did you not see the bump?
Huh? Oh, of course, yeah. So, but other than, apart from him, going and concussing, it was Jakey Lloyd. He had a great game, and that might have won him the game, really. Maybe it was a premeditated attack. But no, other than that, there's the clear midfield class of Dustin Martin and Shai Bolton. They really came and, did their thing.
They're a damaging duo. I don't know if they've played a lot of games together this year, those two.
This year, probably not. Because
back
both
to their best, man.
Yeah, Dusty's missed quite a few games, sporadically. So yeah, no, it's good signs for them, and yeah, I don't know. I'm concerned for the Swans. To be honest
the Swans
with you.
are done, man. Simple as that.
Yeah.
But does Richmond still have a chance?
Well, they're currently a win out of the 8, so yeah, of course they are.
Percentage not that good though.
Yeah, that's the only thing, I guess, more and more as we go on, that's going to matter. But
it'd be interesting to see what their run home is. It's probably decent.
Well, let's have
I feel like they had that run at the start of the year where they were versing every tough team.
Well, I'll tell you what, they've got the Eagles this week, then the Hawks, then Melbourne, Dogs, Saints, North.
Yeah,
there's a couple teams they really need to beat. They're like Dogs, Saints. They're all fighting for the same spot. Oh, actually, not so much the Saints. They're somehow...
They are a chance, a big chance.
I think they are, yeah, you're right. And I wonder when Tom Lynch comes back as well. But if he's there for crunch time...
I think he's had a setback. Might not be until finals. If that. But yeah, look, man, the Swans, I did mention this a few weeks ago. I refuse to believe that a team can go from below the 8, then they sort of rose up pretty quickly, made a grand final, and now they're back in the bottom 4 again. That's so crazy. Usually you're down the bottom for a while or at the top for a while. They've gone like a yo-yo lately.
Yeah.
It's almost like Elliot Yo back in the day for Supercoach. It was like 80 average, 110 average, 80 average, 110 average.
I feel like their main standout has just been Goulden. Who else
Exactly
is-
right.
He's the only one that's gotten better from last year.
That's right. Parker's consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done his thing. Like, I feel like the guy that was meant to come out and really, break out this season was Joel Amati, and then obviously he had his injury issues.
Yeah.
Because at the start of the season, he was going crazy, man.
I think,
Physical specimen.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think their tools are the issue, and they've had the injuries throughout the year and their backs as well. I don't know how much. Yeah, it's hard to know how much we can really say. Yeah, okay, injuries have stopped them, but I think the ruck issue as well. I mean, I don't think Hickey had a really good year a couple of years ago, where he kind of broke out and he was like that.
He was your boy.
Yeah, he was like a meme, but it was actually good.
Yeah.
This year is just not up to it. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they probably have to have a bit of an off-season look at where their list is and just plug a couple of holes. So then I think they'll be back up there pretty quickly.
How about, here's a couple, ruck suggestions, right? Todd Goldstein, right? If North want to move on and go with just Cherry as their ruck, or I don't know what the go is with his, current contract situation, but Sean Darcy for the Swans. Because they might want to just be like, look, Luke Jackson's our guy, and then...
I don't mind it, personally.
I think, considering Jackson's looked really good in the second half of the year, why wouldn't you consider that? If you're Freo, get a high pick. Ruckman, well-established, good ruckmen don't grow on trees. So,
yeah.
And he'd be hitting to a good midfield. Right?
Oh, yeah. That'd be a match made in heaven, him knocking it down to Warner and Goulden and Parker for the next couple of years as well.
Because the other person Sydney's been linked to is Tom De Koning.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's probably the one. Probably a bit more.
But he's still like a bit of... He's not a ready-made ruckman like Darcy
really.
is, right?
Nah.
But for backman, who else? I think Tom Barras has been linked a bit to Sydney as well,
Okay.
which would be interesting. I think that might be an okay... Anyone that West Coast can get rid of that has value is probably in their best interest to get rid of for picks. And so we'll see. I mean, they're a talented list, Sydney. I mean, they won the grand final last year, but things just haven't worked out for them. It's not the end of the world, but it is a bit of a fall from grace. We'll see how they go next year. But they're gone, I think.
Yeah, they're done now. Well said, boys. And then Friday night we had the Dogs v the Pies. Pies, slow start, but then as they do, they're down at halftime or in a close game at halftime. It really doesn't matter. They just pull away when they need to. Too much class.
Yeah. And they were up by over 30 points in the last quarter as well. So, they really, even though the scoreline isn't as bad, it was only a 2-goal win, they really put the foot down. The Pies and, man, the Bont versus Dacos show, man. That was a lot of fun, man. They were direct opponents for most of the game for this one.
How good is this guy, man? 11 clearances. All the talk at the start of the year, he seems to level up every game, right? The talk is oh yeah, he's a great player, great decision maker, but doesn't get any hard ball. Last 3 weeks he's played in the midfield, had 8 clearances, 11 clearances, most contested ball in his team, and he's kicking goals.
And this was with Degoe back in the team, and everyone thought, Degoe's back, he'll move out of the middle a bit more. He's the guy now.
A couple of weeks ago I said, Butters, I reckon Butters is the one that is going to win the Brownlow. Dacos is nearly 20 clear of him now in the coaches' votes.
What a turnaround that was, man. It was Butters was what, 13 clear or something?
Yeah, but I realized he had the bye, right?
Fair enough.
So that's, let's say he's 3 to 5 clear. And then boom, boom, boom. He's a lock now for the Brownlow. I cannot see anyone else take it. Yeah. How is an umpire meant to give anyone votes other than Dacos in that performance?
Because the thing is, he scores goals as well.
That's right. If you're a midfielder that scores goals, you get votes.
And there was one play where he was running out of the defense, right? He picks it up out of a stoppage and then pinpoint kick down the ground, down the wing, straight to a mark. Yeah, amazing.
He's crazy, man. In terms of Brownlow, I think you never know how things get ranked by the umpires, but Petrarca's got to be in with the shout too because he kicks goals. He's owned that midfield since Oliver's been out.
Who's your top 5 Brownlow right now?
It's got to be Dacos, Petrarca, Butters will still be there.
Zach Merritt, 4 for
Not
me.
a bad shout.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach
I think the Bont still scores.
and Bont. Yeah,
Does
actually, that's a good 5, I reckon.
Do we think Dunkley polls?
It'd be interesting to see how
Taranto even?
Well, Taranto I think will poll. It'd be interesting to see who gets the votes of Neil and Dunkley though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I think Zach Merritt with Parrish especially being out for a few games, there's no one really who's going to get the votes ahead of him. Like maybe Nick Martin might steal a vote or two from him, but
And there's a real world where Dacos wins the Brownlow, possibly even a Norm Smith in his second year.
And a grand final.
Yeah.
we're witnessing history. Really.
Yeah, but it's actually quite special because like our parents talk about generational players and, you know...
we had Gary Ablett Jr.
Yeah, I know, but
like when we were kids.
But do you really remember Gary Ablett? Like, do you really remember?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Well,
Nah,
you like
him. I used to watch him. To be honest, I really remember his Gold Coast years.
I
a bit
remember his
more
Gold Coast.
clearly, but like, because the thing is with him, he would do these amazing things, like these beautiful goals that are like the highlight of anyone else's career, and he would do it week in, week out. So yeah.
Well, a lot of the commentators at the moment are saying like, you know, Dacos is the best since probably Judd, right? And Judd obviously won the Brownlow in his third year. But even though Judd, like even as a Carlton player, I remember him as West Coast. I remember his Norm Smith, but I can't really picture what Judd was doing week to week, right? Maybe I was just a bit young. Maybe I don't know, but I can process Dacos now and the beginning of what's going to be a ridiculous career. And you know, we're seeing something special. We can, I can pin in the future. I can look back at this moment and go, yeah, we knew at the start. This is the start of a superstar.
Okay. I'm a few years older than you guys, so I do remember Judd, like watching him as a kid, and he was probably the most freaky midfielder I've seen, to be honest, in terms of there'll just be a pack of guys and all of a sudden he's 2 meters out in the contest, just bursting away. Like he just had that special exhilaration. But
speaking of crazy midfielders, Pendlebury as well, the
Yes.
record-breaking disposals.
that's crazy, actually. In a year where LeBron James overtook Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in most ever points in the NBA, now we're seeing Pendlebury win the record as well. So
that's kind of cool, actually. There you go. LeBron and Pendlebury somehow linked together. You know, maybe it's Pendlebury's basketball background. You know, very fitting.
Who's got more? Has Pendlebury got more disposals than commentators have said he's got a basketball background? Because I reckon it'd be close.
Very close.
It'd be very close, man.
Yeah, I might even put the bet on the basketball background one, to be honest with you.
Just a quick note on the Dogs. Like, obviously they were outclassed in the end, but tell you what, losing no admirers with this one.
See, I don't know if I agree.
You reckon? Nah, they were good.
Look, they were good, right? But what I'm saying is, what is your expectations for the Dogs, man? Like, why should the Dogs not be... Like, I know they're talking about Collingwood, and Collingwood's the best team, right? But the Dogs just don't seem to be able to just take it to the best. But they're not a rebuilding team. They're not... Like, there's no reason why you wouldn't put the Dogs as a list right up there. They've got a midfield that's stacked. They've got tall forwards. A little bit of injuries at the backline at the moment with Jones, but the defense is still holding up at the moment. What's the problem? Why can't the Dogs just take that next step, for example?
Well, I think it's what I mentioned a few weeks ago. In my opinion, I think honestly, guys like Aaron Norton aren't as good as some of the other elite forwards in the league are. Guys like Hugo Hagen are getting much better, but not quite ready. Like Waitman's really good. The defense, I know that they're holding up, but I'm not sure if they did have an actual good defense, where would that take them? We're not going to know for a little while. I don't know. I actually think they're right where they should be at the moment. I don't expect much more from them. They're definitely better than...
But you're not even remotely expecting them to be a premiership threat.
No, not at all.
So they're just a team that's just around it.
They're just around it. I think they're right where they belong.
Fair enough. And that's where they were when they won their premiership as well.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true, man.
They started doing well towards the end of the year in their premiership year. But they were what, sixth?
I think seventh. Seventh.
Yeah,
is,
that's
but they look so damaging when in that year. They look like they could at any point find a way to turn it on and win. They just had like this dare about them, this skill about them at that time.
Yes.
They played with a style that was almost like Hawthorn like at the time, right? Where it's like they'll just extreme skill and they'll just find a way to make it happen. Now, what their identity is kind of, I don't know, Bond's identity. And the other thing about them is, I've seen some statistics there. They get scored on with run streaks of goals, like so often. Like teams will score 6 goals, 7 goals in a row, and that's not something they've been able to stop for ages.
And that really shouldn't happen with the midfield that they have.
Yeah, get the leaders to get back on top of the ball and stop the momentum, but they can't. And I don't think they've ever been very good at stopping like kick to kick transition either. So I don't know.
Yeah, look, they definitely get exploited by the better teams, no doubt about it. It'll be interesting to see. I'm really starting to get intrigued by this top 8 race. Like, there's so much that can go on.
Yeah. It's really that, I think, even, you know what? I don't even think St Kilda are guaranteed that 6th spot. You know, top 5, I think, is guaranteed to be in the 8. I don't think Essendon's dropping out.
See, I still think there's a chance any of those teams from 5th to 8th can drop.
I think the Saints
No one's a lock,
are
in my
vulnerable.
opinion.
We've talked about that the last couple of weeks where the Saints, they just don't feel right, but then like, oh, but they're 5th. Oh, but they're 1 win out of the... But with these injuries that they just copped, Max King, I think he's out.
For the year.
Yeah, I think we'll get to the St Kilda talk when we get to that game. I reckon we move on to the game that we can skip, really.
Yeah, Lions did what they should have done and what we all knew they would do against West Coast.
J Gov made his return, got subbed out, which was,
George's boy McLuggage continuing his hot streak of form.
Yeah, man.
I think everyone looks good against West Coast, man.
Yeah,
they
very
brought back Gunston to kick 6 goals.
I was going to say, like, I guess that's the perfect game to bring him back against. Let him kick a bag, get his confidence up. Because they've recruited him to help in September, not now. So we'll
That's
see.
a fair call. Like, it's a very different caliber of opponent that he'll be facing.
Oh, yeah.
There's just no respect to West Coast, though. The coach's like, you know what? You know we can get Gunston back into form? Put him against West Coast.
Yeah.
They won't stop him.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly for the Eagles. But I guess, look, you know what? Let's take the positives. I know this might sound ironic or a bit crude, but they didn't lose by 100 points at the Gabba. That could have been way worse.
Yeah,
I don't
know. If I'm going to continue...
We've been desensitized to how bad it can get, man.
Yeah, true.
And I'm a North Melbourne fan as well.
100 points seems like just like an easy gettable target now for these guys.
It is kind of disappointing, though, from the Lions. You only put in 116 points against the Eagles. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying. I expected more.
I don't think they ever got out of first gear.
They didn't. I'm joking.
Yeah, true. I'm just looking at another positive. Elijah Hewitt had a decent game, man. That's probably his best showing so far.
Yep.
This season. And that's exactly what they need. They need young guys to come in and, show their colours. Even Chesser had a half decent game as well, because usually he's nowhere really near it. Whereas, at least he's racking up a couple disposals. Other than that, it's a slim pickings for the positivity out of the Eagles camp.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
And for Brizzy, they just get another win that they need at the Gabba. And
Ashcroft was massive, huh?
Yeah. See, it's a kind of annoying that puts him into rising star favoritism now, just because he smacked it.
Can we talk about this?
Well, I was listening to David King and Jared Waitley this morning, right? And David King obviously is a North Melbourne man, right? But he didn't even mention he's like, it's a 2-horse race for the Rising Star, and he said it in a way that it was obvious that it was Owens and what's it called Ashcroft, right? So, which is really interesting. And I said that to you guys on the weekend. Not that I believe that Sheasel shouldn't be in the Rising Star contention, but it almost feels like he's slowly declining. He's a first-year player. He's a gun, right? But it just feels like the expectations on a midfielder in his first year is so high that when his output slowly reduces, he's gone. But this is the thing. That's not what I believe, but it's easy. The media, they push their kind of perspective and agenda, and it kind of switches on, and everyone just adopts it straight away.
Well, that's the thing, right? And let's just get the facts straight. Obviously, we're actually very lucky. This has been a great rookie year for all these draftees. Fantastic stuff. Like, everyone's talking about his dip in form. He hasn't gone below 20 touches since round 6.
I know.
And he did it against the Cats at Geelong, and he wasn't even playing in his usual position. They actually moved him around the ground. Meanwhile, the overreaction to Ashcroft beating up on the Eagles midfield with his elite midfield by his side is kind of ironic.
But that's why I think Owens is going to win, man.
If Owens wins, look,
I think Owens
he's been great. He's been great.
That is, they do it with talls or semi-talls that compete. They don't give it to the midfielders. I'm telling you.
Look, ultimately it doesn't matter, but the fact, like, this thing that Sheasel's dropped off in form is just hilarious to me. Like,
yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's very it's a big overreaction, man. I feel like any award, especially when it's the Rising Star, how is it voted for? Is it just
you give 1 to 5 points for each player. So
per game, or is it by the media?
No, just each person that votes for it has a 5 voter, a 4 voter, 3 voter, 2 voter, and 1 voter.
And it's media votes, yeah?
Well, it's not media. It's whoever the selectors are.
Oh, okay.
So if
fair
you're
enough.
like Kane Corns, right, you may go, I'll give my 5 to Ashcroft, my 4 for Owens, my 3 to Sheasel, my 2 to.
So it's
whoever's
just an
left.
award by people that are just decided that their opinion matters. Like
Yeah, bad.
they probably don't even watch half the games these kids are playing in. To be honest, Anyway.
They should almost vote it like a Brownlow, and actually make it the best for every game of the year, not just the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I'd be surprised if Sheasel doesn't have a fantastic last 5 rounds of the season, or 6 rounds,
and
whatever it is.
honestly, it really does not matter. But
It doesn't matter at all.
it's just the perception sometimes is just
I
hilarious.
just found it interesting that David King,
A Northman, as well.
but he didn't even mention Sheasel. It was just like, it's a 2-horse race.
He does it every now and again. Kingy tries to act like he's not a North fan by giving a complete 180 opinion against North,
True.
just to balance it out because he is. Yeah. Anyway,
We'll move on to the Giants versus Hawthorn.
Bro, this is as skippable as the other one, man.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Is it that bad?
I watched a bit of this game. Worst bloody game I've ever seen, bro.
yeah, it was two teams that aren't good enough, like for one of them to put the other away, but definitely also not bad enough. Where
Bro, it was actually infuriating.
it was a pretty of a difficult watch. I agree.
Did you catch any of it?
Yeah, I was watching it in the background while I was eating or something. I can't remember. But I don't think it was that bad. But maybe I was just kind of watching my Supercoach guys and they were kind of,
Well, that's what I was watching as well. But
Yeah, and then fair enough, man. Fair enough. The thing I just found that was crazy is the outlier game from Josh Kelly. He
Yeah.
literally
Yeah, true.
had he was unsighted. He was unsighted. And I'm like, let's
6 disposals.
Was it 6?
I think it's the lowest he's had since like his debut year or something like
Who
that.
was tagging him though?
It would have
McGuinness.
been, yeah, that
What a great job he did.
I know.
And I'll say for that matter as well, Tom Green only 17 disposals.
Man, that Hawthorn midfield, all of a sudden they're
They got on top.
constrictive, man. They put players on clamps,
Yeah, but couldn't get it done though. So
Yeah, true. So it doesn't really matter.
But
at the
they
end,
definitely
but-
had their chances.
Mm.
Like this was not a game that like Giants have been good, and they get the win and they move on, right? But that was not an impressive performance.
no. 15 more clearances for Hawthorn,
Yeah,
but 12 more turnovers.
Yeah,
So
I
sort
mean,
of threw away a pretty good opportunity to win that one.
and really, I think Cogs put him on their back, mate. 3 goals from the midfield.
Yeah, like the guy who, and we've talked about him a few times this year on the pod, Will Day, man, he's so good.
Mm.
He's just so good. Like to me, it's Pendle's like in the way that he's clean with the ball in hand, and he mixes that with the toughness to go inside and get his own. So man, they've got one there with Will Day.
100%. But he also missed a really obvious goal that if he had kicked, it would have put him in the race.
2 in a
2.
row. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Josh Ward who kicked 2 goals straight, the youngster. One of them being quite an impressive goal. But yeah, I just think the Hawks, one of those ones where they'd be kicking themselves. They got close. But for the Giants, really important win for their season. Not a flashy one, but I think they've won like 5 in a row now.
Yeah,
Or 5 out of the last 6, something like that.
Well, they are now 10th and only like 2 points at the 8.
Yeah.
So they're firmly in contention for finals, but do they really deserve it? I get, based on their previous performances, yeah.
They've won some key games, man.
And this week they've got a huge game against Adelaide in Adelaide. If they can somehow pull off a result there, which I don't think so, but
No.
I'm not going to be tipping it, but that
Yeah.
puts them firmly into contention.
That's the thing that is happening every week now is like we'll see a team's result, they're in a bit of form, and then we'll look at the top 8 picture, like, they're a chance, and then they lose, and another team just
And you're like, yeah,
becomes more
never
favourable.
mind, they're useless. Sydney win next week. Oh, you know what? They could do it.
they could do it. It's one of those ones with them, but well, actually, speaking of that top 8 picture, so the Saints 21-point loss to Melbourne. I think I do believe now the Saints season's just going to go down from here.
Yeah.
The injuries are taking their tolls. King's out.
Yeah.
They've
don't
dealt
know.
with injuries all year, so it might be possible. I mean, they've got a good defensive team, but yeah, you can kind of build the narrative now around them. They're only a couple of games clear from the teams that are challenging for the 8. Now King's out. They had a couple of other injuries. Who was the hamstring to one of their midfielders?
You know what?
Whatever
I
his
might
name was.
retract my comment because they've got Suns, North Hawks in the next 3 games. That
Yeah.
might just set them if they can win all 3.
True. And you know what? The resurgence of, one of the top 5 midfielders of the last 4 years, Jack Steele, right? Jack Steele had a freaking amazing game, man. He's back. Like that
That was the McCluggage of last week.
Exactly.
Just out of nowhere, just looks like he's back and winning a lot of hard ball, covering the ground, getting a lot of uncontested stuff as well.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was impressed with, man. His running was fantastic during that game. So it's good to see that he's back.
Dean.
Very, very highly regarded midfielder on this pod, apart from Dean.
Dean doesn't think he's handsome. That's why.
Yeah, that's it, man. Dean's just
jealous. No.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I did rage traded out Jack Steele this week in Supercoach. That's why Matsa's cheekily bringing him up. Like he probably would have anyway, but
yeah,
I deserve that. That's fine.
Yeah, nah.
Can I just say, courtesy of our friend of the pod, Chris, in one of our chats, post Jack Sinclair's last 5 games. Thought I'd just mention this because it is quite impressive.
Yeah.
33 touches, 30 touches, 36 touches, 31, and then 32. Man, he's balling at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is impressive, man. And yeah, Jack Sinclair
as a full-time midfielder. Like he's not a halfback anymore.
He's doing a Rory Laird, man.
He's doing a Rory Laird, man.
Almost.
Yeah. And I think they kind of need him in there, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like halfbacks, they already have Wanganeen Malera, who's come in and pretty much taken that spot.
And Jack Steele's been average this year, so...
Yeah, well, Jack Steele, apart from last week, he has been average, right? But, he's... Now that you got Steele, starting to, come into his own, and Sinclair in the guts, and Brad Crouch hasn't been that bad.
He's been good this year. I mean, Mason Woods continued consistency on the wing. Jade Gresham can play a little bit of midfield, kind of do a little bit that Papley thing where he goes through the midfield a little bit.
Yeah.
Not as skillful, I don't think. But the other thing is Jack Billings comes back in for his first game. I think this year, Jack Billings.
Oh, yeah. It's
kicks a goal.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's at in his career. A lot of injuries.
He'll get traded soon, probably.
You think so?
Or he'll probably just get listed.
Probably sent to Carlton.
Yeah, true.
So
you guys need a forward.
We need a talented player that doesn't play footy.
Yeah,
that's injured all the time.
Perfect.
Another Jack Martin McGovern situation.
Yeah.
So Max King, Seb Ross was the midfielder, and Zane Cordy all injured. I don't know how, other than Max King, I don't know how important Seb Ross is. But Zane Cordy, again, I don't know how important he is, but he's a kind of a tool for their structure. So do they have another person to come in?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Where's Membry?
I just thought like Jack Billings. I think he's good mates with Luke McDonald from North. So
Best
maybe we
mates.
can have another, mid player like Jack Billings come to the squad and
bring in another average player that's not really good at anything.
Exactly. Get another shit player from that draft. It's an option. You know what I mean? I don't know.
What about Petrarca, mate? Every time this guy plays, he's just so obviously the best player on the field.
That's why I think he might be in for a Brownlow shout.
Yeah.
To be honest.
No one's getting votes other than him.
No.
Like instead of they'll give him 3 votes and then they'll just 2 and 1 they just won't give to anyone.
Yeah, and look,
NA,
and
not applicable.
The other thing about the other thing with that is that Oliver's going to be out for like 2 months of the season. So here it's primed for him to contend for the Brownlow.
He's a Brownlow quality player, that's for sure.
Your team wins by 4 goals and you kick 4 straight. You are the match winner.
Yeah.
You're getting the 3 votes, and he's done it. Not quite the 4 goals, obviously, but every time I watch Melbourne, he's just by far and away the best player on the field. Anytime he touches the ball,
Yeah, he's a superstar.
And that's even whilst Oliver's playing a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Like Petrarca.
But when Oliver's not playing, the golf is so obvious.
Yeah, the golf.
The golf, man. And Max Gawn hasn't been like the same level that he's been in previous years.
Yeah, nah. And his production is nerfed by
he's been nerfed.
Grundy.
He's been nerfed.
Yeah, he's been
Gawn is just
he was getting too OP in the game. You know what I mean? Too OP in online. Yeah.
I reckon Gawn is just chilling this year, waiting for September, and then in finals he's gonna just go crazy.
I like that, load management throughout the season. Yeah, I don't mind it. You know what I mean?
There's no way he's trying his hardest right now.
No way. He doesn't need to try.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got Hosier playing in the field as well.
Yeah,
100%, man.
The one thing I will say, do you get the Hosier reference?
No, I was just saying,
know who Hosier is?
Hosier.
Yeah, the singer.
No, Dean just agreed with you just to get you to shut up or something.
I didn't even check what you said. I was like,
oh yeah,
I think I heard one
thing. They don't even listen to me on the podcast.
No, we don't.
What I will say is I watched this game and I was as frustrated as the GWS game because the Saints had a lot of ball. They got it forward often. But man, talk about the intercepts in Melbourne. Like these guys just rinse and repeat, kicked it into the 50, and Melbourne marked it and got it out for the whole game.
Stephen May is incredible, man. That is like I think he's the best defender in the league.
He is.
Honestly, like,
Oh, is he better than Tom Stewart?
you know the
And
thing is,
Darcy Moore?
I'm gonna say, you know what, lockdown defender. I'm gonna say Steve May because he locks down, but he also does the intercepting as well.
Yeah, no, that's
so for that, and he really, because Max King went down, he was able to just run amok. You know, he didn't have to worry about having to deal with Max King anymore. So he's like, all right, here's my chance. I'm just gonna go crazy.
And to be honest, because King went down, it was actually kind of the Owen show a little bit. I mean, this guy does have to compete pretty hard for a youngster. Almost kicked a bag as well. One goal bounced on the line and then bounced out. Like,
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy, man.
That's like I don't know, some force saying nah, I can't. Ashcroft has to win the Rising Star.
Intervention.
Yeah, that was an intervention. But yeah, that was just annoying to watch, man.
Yeah,
Kick
fair
it to
enough.
your forwards.
Yeah, it's sometimes when you're barely winning the midfield battle and you just don't have time to lower the eyes. It's like, you just end up bombing up to nobody. Can I just say a really fun stat line? Rowan Marshall, 30 disposals for a ruckman. Crazy. 10 marks, 7 tackles, only 15 hitouts, obviously coming up against Gawn and Grundy, but he made him pay with his disposal around the ground, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's got my favourite icon on fan footy, the Atlas symbol.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like he's carrying the whole team.
Yeah.
I love that shit, man.
See, the thing is with that is like Steele and Sinclair both had decent games as well. So
But
like,
still got the pig,
yeah.
and Sinclair got the gun.
Oh,
What
fair
about
enough.
Wanganeen Malera, mate? 33 disposals, 7
Magnet
marks.
Is
There
the
you go.
magnet.
I'm really loving his second half of the year. He's a
Yeah,
player.
he's really
Who was that? Sorry.
Wangi Malera.
Oh, yeah, man. He's killing it, man.
Great player.
Okay.
Love watching him. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Port, is that 13 in a row now?
Yeah.
Bloody
Yeah.
hell. 13 wins in a row. They beat the Suns, who I will say, first half, Suns were playing really well. And then the Power, another 9-goal third quarter. It's
Yeah.
like a common thing here at Adelaide Oval. They just put teams to absolute
The
bed.
premiership quarter, mate.
I want to say, before we say like too much about Port, shout out to Took Miller, man.
Yeah.
He made his return,
He's
man.
back, yeah.
He's one of the premier midfielders in the competition. Nice to have him back. You know, makes watching footy a lot better. Makes watching Gold Coast a lot better. So shout out to him coming back, man. But in the end, man, the Port, they're a well-oiled machine at this point. Very cliche. Sorry about that, guys, but you know, it's you don't expect Gold Coast to go over to Adelaide and you know, and to win, but they gave us a bit of a show up till halftime.
And the most accurate kick in the competition, Levi Casbolt, 4 goals straight, mate. Trying to keep them in it. But
He-
couldn't do it.
Did everything he could, man. I want to just tell you guys this year. So halftime, the score is 39-33. Port is losing. 3/4 time, they're up 89-46. Now, and what's especially impressive about that third quarter, 9 goal scorers, so no multiple goal kickers,
Wow.
just domination.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Rosie goal?
No, what happened?
You didn't see the Rosie goal from the boundary?
No.
Yeah,
Mate,
I was at
defied-
work at the time, but
Defied physics, bro.
defied
Really?
physics. All right, man.
I'll have to check it out.
You guys keep talking. I want to watch it live on the pod. Where is it?
Fair enough.
Live on the pod.
A couple of people have said it might be goal of the year. No, play it out.
All right, man. Look, so right now,
Commentate.
so the snap. Oh, the
No,
snap.
not that one,
I was
man.
gonna
Not-
say, I'm like, that's mid, man.
No, he dribbles it along the boundary.
Oh, it stuns. Yeah, it must.
And
be
then he
this one.
high fives the crowd. That's
And
how you know it's good.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah, that's yeah. Oh, okay, he's running on. Oh, okay.
Oh, you might have to show
nah.
me. You might have to show me now.
Yeah, no. Well, the thing is about it is that it's just like a straight line, this beautiful line between.
But
know,
they gave
along
you
the
a bad
ground.
angle. They gave you a
Oh,
bad
okay.
angle.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sure there's better angles, but regardless, I can see what's going on there, mate. That's unbelievable. mate.
That's what I'd do if I was a footy player and I kicked the goal. I'd just get involved with the crowd.
yeah.
Do
No,
a
I
secret handshake with one of the cheer squad people.
just have a plant. Just have like a dude that knows all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
handshakes and be like,
You
hey,
know,
bro,
'cause
we're
you
gonna
can
do
point to. You can point to.
this. Yeah, man. I think that's, as a sports star, I'd love to do the point and just point at random people. You know what I mean? Not know them. It's like, hey,
What about?
Yeah.
Would you ever do this?
The
yeah.
silence of the shush.
Oh yeah. Are you
I'm not-
kidding me?
I don't like other than
It's disrespectful.
If
but-
you're at the away team, 100% you do that.
yeah,
You have
I
to.
think the thing is, Dino and I are both FIFA fans. We know what the shush means.
Yeah.
The shush is just ultimate disrespect.
It's toxic.
Yeah, it is big time. It's like not skipping your goal scored when you're versing someone online. And the other thing, this is getting a bit of a tangent here, but back at one stage, you couldn't even choose to skip. Oh, basically, you could skip your opponent's goals and your own. If people skipped when you scored a scissor kick or an outside of the goal banger, those people are scumbags, man.
100%.
Those people, let me see my outside of the box, absolute, banger goal.
Yeah.
That's rude. I want to see what I just did, man. I want to
100%.
enjoy my work a little bit.
Well,
Unless it's a tap in, then you skip.
I think Rosie's probably watched his highlights a couple times though.
You're not skipping those highlights. Man.
You'd have to.
Can you imagine you're playing AFL 23 online and someone skips that goal? Mate.
Can you imagine you're playing AFL 23?
No, not at all.
Did they fix those bugs? I haven't heard anything from it actually.
I don't know, it just died out. I never bought the game.
It died
personally.
after week 1.
I think they fixed it, but no one believes them. No one's bothered checking.
I think
it's fixed. Check again.
Social media pushes games so heavy. Like, you want to see clips of things, right? You know what I mean? Like, if you're playing FIFA, or even Dino and I, we're big Zelda fans, there's content you can be making about Zelda apart from the storyline, about gameplay and, look, I did this really cool shit. There's nothing probably like that on AFL 23. It's like, oh, look, you did a mark and then you took a set shot from 50 and scored it. Where's the excitement in that game?
But can you control? Is it like one of those ones where you can actually, the skill of the team and the person finds a way to navigate?
I've said, and I actually commented on Caden McDonald's video about this, and I think he hearted it. Shout out to Caden.
Friend of the pod.
But what I did say was, we need to stop trying to make a proper AFL simulation game. Make one of those like NBA Jam, fake but fun, big hits, big speckies, something a bit unrealistic.
Yeah.
That's what the people will actually play because it's fun.
You want speed. You want it to be...
You can't simulate AFL. It's a crazy sport.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
just can't.
Because I feel like every AFL game I've played, they pick up the ball and they're just running super slow.
Yeah.
And then someone all of a sudden has this incredible speed to chase you down.
It's like
Why
the
is
tackle.
that?
It's like the tackle in our opening clip where you tackled Dean.
Yeah, no, legit.
That's how bad it
Dean's
is.
just running like...
That's how bad it
and
is.
then I'm,
That's the 100% boys. And what happens in these games is it's all just about like pick up the ball, get tackled, then you tackle that guy, then you tackle that guy. Just whoever's last to get tackled gets the ball in the end because everyone's down. There's no context to the game. It's crap.
It's just trash.
Shout out to Big Ant Studios for trying to keep making it. But like, boys, just go for my style. I'm telling you, people will play it.
True, man. There we go, man. Shout out to Dino with his,
hey, man.
video game production skills, man.
That's it. Can I just say as well, we're talking a lot about the 8. So just back to the footy for a sec. We're talking a lot about who's going to make the 8. Oh, the race is exciting. Let's just be real right now. Collingwood and Port have home prelims. They're both making the grand final. Port's not losing at Adelaide Oval. They're going to play there twice. Collingwood's not losing at the G. They're going to play there twice.
Spoiler alert, guys.
Can we just... I know I'm actually really excited about the 8 race, but it really doesn't matter, does it? Like, who's going to beat these guys?
That's fair.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So it's going to be, Collingwood Port grand final, and at the MCG, Collingwood are probably going to win.
Port rocks out in the prison bars.
Yeah, the prison bars. Winner keeps the prison bars.
What would Collingwood's New Jersey be?
Have Collingwood... what
would they have? I don't know.
That magpie one that you can picture like Chris Tarrant in or Alan Didak.
Yeah,
you know that one?
okay. Yeah, they just got to work. They got to run with that from now on.
Yeah, that was pretty tough.
But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just have an all black jersey.
They just fold as a team. They're not black and white. They're nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they just get disqualified.
and then Dacos comes to the north.
If that happened,
To North. He comes to North.
can we just bring this up again?
Yeah.
Because I just think about it every now and then and get upset.
All right.
North had the number 1 pick and were bullied into taking Horton Francis because we knew that we couldn't get Dacos anyway, so we didn't bid on him. He should have been ours.
There's no way he comes to you, man.
They just shouldn't
if
be.
father-son didn't exist, we would have picked him.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Father-son.
Yeah, it just shouldn't
That's what I'm
exist. It just shouldn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
so do you not want Cooper Harvey?
I love Cooper.
I love
We'll
Cooper
get to
Harvey,
it.
but
We'll
like,
get
I'd
to
rather
it.
have
All right.
Dacos.
Yeah, he's only
Straight up, I don't care. I don't care whose
better.
son you are, bro. I want you on the team. Like straight. Let's be fair.
Look,
Let's be fair.
if you had Nick Dacos, you'd be better.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. We would have had him and Ashcroft. Think about it, man.
The people
Think
are
about it for a
watching
sec.
for these key opinions from George. Dacos equals better team. That's just...
Dacos has made them...
You heard it here first.
Dacos has made them a grand final team.
Yeah, fair.
He has, man. Can you imagine having Dacos and Ashcroft in the same midfield running around?
But Collingwood wouldn't be the team they are without Dacos. Not even close.
No, I agree, man. I agree. But there's another Ashcroft. Man, Brisbane are getting OP as well. You know what I mean? From these father and son.
They need to be
father
nerfed.
son.
They need to be nerfed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Man. We can't.
Lockie Neal has to play with like ankle weights or something.
McCluggage. That's why McCluggage is leaving at the end of the year.
Yeah, could be.
You've got to nerf him up a bit.
Yeah, true. It's getting a bit too OP.
Are Collingwood and Port playing each other for the rest of the year?
I can quickly
Who
check
won
when
when they played?
Yes.
Actually, they are. They
Round
are. It's
19.
already a sellout. Actually, I already read that.
Round-
Second versus first in
Next
Adelaide.
week
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and
huge.
in Adelaide.
I'll be watching on the beach
What happens if Port wins that? That'd be mental.
in Greece. It's gonna be fantastic.
That'll be crazy. Port should win at
I
home.
think that they can win, yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
We mentioned Cooper Harbeaver before, so let's talk a bit north.
Are
I'm only-
we skipping? Oh, that's the next game. Oh,
No,
nice.
we good.
Cool.
We good.
Works well.
So
Sorry, I wrecked your really good segue
no,
there.
that's all good. That's all good. I was actually just going to say you guys can take over for a bit because I'm just going to build my rage and then unleash my vent that I've got planned.
Look, I don't have a lot to say because I woke up after night shift at like 2 p.m. that day. And basically, I woke up and I saw on Fan Footy that it was like 60-15. I'm just like, nah, it's not happening today. I don't have the mental capacity and it just wouldn't have done my well-being any good to watch that. So honestly, I didn't watch. And the only it doubled down on me a little bit more when I found out that Griffin Logue did his ACL, and he's been one of the shining lights, in the defense this year. It's after about four or 5 weeks of real good positivity and honorable losses, that Deano so famously enjoyed. It hurts. It hurts, man.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a bit of this game and it was so one-sided. It was a non-event, really.
Yeah.
It's so quickly became just like a smashing, and there was just no chance Geelong lost that game at any point.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I agree with you.
Here we go. I'm kind of looking forward to this. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
As Matsa
This
said,
is therapy, really.
the honourable losses recently have been so much fun. Like I was at that Sydney game, which had we won that, like we should have, aside from that technicality, the season. I know, like it's only one win, but you lose a few in a row, you win. You lose a few, you win. Like it.
Yeah.
It's the nourishment, as David Noble used to say last year. North Melbourne comes into this game. Obviously, I'm sitting here watching, but I'm thinking we are no chance. I'm not stupid. I know we're going to lose, but we come out, and at the 12-minute mark of the game, we're up 12-8. Can you then explain to me how 20 minutes later, we're down 53-12?
Yeah, your burst lasted 5 minutes.
Well, what I'm trying to say is things go downhill so quickly with this team.
Yeah.
Like, we looked good in the first 10 minutes. We were tackling, putting pressure on. It was a pretty even game. And then Geelong just, with absolute ease, is winning every centre clearance.
Yeah.
I think it was 8-0 in the first quarter or something dumb like that. Every centre clearance, every ball's going in the 50. As soon as that ball hits the deck,
You're in
North
trouble.
has nobody in the defence that can pick up the ball below the knees cleanly and quickly shoot it off to a teammate. And like we see with every team, the ball hits the deck, it gets recycled out the back of the contest, and then it leaves the 50. It's such a routine thing that every team does, but North has Zeeble, can't pick up below his knees anymore. Ben Mackay, you wouldn't really expect that too much. Griff Logue, he's always usually like flying up and being the one trying to fist it. He's not at the ground. Flynn Perez is getting a game.
McDonald.
Why? Luke McDonald. I mentioned him last week. He's the captain. He's one of our smaller players in that defense. He should be the one you're like, yep, this guy's clean. Good. All right, Luke's got it. He's just not. He's crap. Everyone else in that defense, no one is helping the fact that when you're not winning the clearance, we can actually stop a team. And on the midfield, like LDU played well. Everyone else, Simpkin gets concussed again, 3rd time this year. This is becoming a problem now. Something's not right there. We've dropped Will Phillips. Lazaro comes in. Lazaro, I want it to work, but the reality is he's a VFL player. It's not going to happen.
I agree with that.
We've dropped Tristan Jerry. He stuffed the stat sheet, but we lost every clearance. I'm not going to pin it on him entirely, but, you've got Goldie sitting there in the resis. I reckon just play Goldie till he can't walk anymore, to be honest. Like, you got to respect one of the best players in your history. A bit more than that. So anyway, look, Geelong, they were taking the piss at one point, man. They were in that first quarter or early second. They had 3 set shots from about 50 yards, and every player was just like taking the full 30 seconds and then kicking it 10 meters closer. It was just a piss take.
I saw that, and that the coach would have been pretty upset about that. It
was a piss take.
It was, that just shows the disrespect, what that is.
100%, man. And some of the centre bouncers, like they've got, I think it might have been Stanley in the ruck, Blitzarves, Atkins, and like Tom Stewart on ball. And you're looking at it like these guys are experimenting, they're taking the piss, and they're still winning every clearance. I was filthy, man. The tackle count as well. When you're getting pumped, usually you have the tackles in your favour. Geelong was just monstering us completely.
Yeah, too big, too strong.
100%.
I do think you guys have recruited well in the midfield. Probably time to start going into the back line, half-backs, small forwards, these type of... Like, there's a lot... I think your midfield is going to be okay in the next couple of years. But you're right, your forward and back line has got no idea.
I think the forward will be okay as well. I mean, Cooper Harvey took 5 contested marks today, kicked a goal. He looks good.
Larky's still good. Zohar's still good. Taron Thomas is good.
The thing is with Cooper Harvey, I think he was lining up on Mullen the entire game, who's not an AFL player. You know what I mean? So he was able to use his experience and nous to just bully him.
You got a couple of contested marks as well.
That's what I'm saying. He got them all on Mullen, is what I'm saying. Right. So it's like I don't think it's like the most impressive thing, but at the very least, he's competing and he's beating someone who he should be beating. You know what I mean? And that's at least the positive you can take out of that. And his first goal as well was, he said it himself. I hit it flush. And he really did, man, from 50 metres. That's a great goal to start off with.
That's the thing, man. And for me, like, there's too many players on the list that just have no standout skill. Like, at the very least, like I've mentioned Luke McDonald. He's not quick. He's not tall. He's not strong. Lockie Young's getting a game, first of the year. He's not tall enough. He's not quick enough. He's not good enough in the air. He's not skillful enough. Flynn Perez, he's a smaller guy. He's not quick enough. He's not strong enough. He's not skillful enough. Like, you got to at least, like, you want to look at a guy that's a bit slight and say, man, he's quick. Or, man, he can jump.
Or he can kick really well.
He can kick really well. Like, there's just nothing in certain players. And it just holds the whole team back. And it's really frustrating. On Geelong, look, they needed to win this. They're at home. They were never going to lose. Zach Tui, fair play to him. Most games ever from an Irishman.
Yeah, credit to him.
Credit. Make me smile, man. I appreciate it.
What about your favourite small forward, Tyson Stengel, 5 goals too? That would have infuriated you even more.
No, here's the thing though, I don't dislike the guy. I just think anyone that thinks he's better than he is, just... Anyway, you're at the feet of Geelong's forwards.
Yeah, he's not in the S tier of forwards. You know what I mean? Like, he's A, B tier.
Well, like I'm saying,
probably A. We'll give him A. He's been an All-Australian. We'll give him A tier.
Well, most of his goals were in the goal square because he's leaking out the back and we're not winning any ground ball, and he knows it. And he's just taking the risk, cherry picking the goals anyway.
I'll tell you what, Mitch Duncan kind of wound back the clock as well.
Of course, yeah.
Against,
good on him, man.
If I go through the North list, I want you guys to tell me whether like keep or get rid of, like, or got a future, doesn't have a future, right?
Yep, done.
Uniacke, keep. Luke McDonald.
Obviously not.
Well, here's the thing: we've made him captain.
That doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't really matter. Port, that shows their culture. Tom Jonas is their
I agree,
captain.
but we're not going to drop him.
Okay.
So
Cherry,
keep.
Yeah.
Bailey Scott,
Keep. He's been one of our best this year.
Zerha,
Keep.
Greenwood. He's got to go.
He's at some point he's got to go.
At some point, go.
It's like he's one of those dudes you keep him around just for training drills, you know.
But we do need him right now because he's at least shows some skills and he's a big body.
Yeah, that's fair.
Taron Thomas, keep.
Absolutely.
Zeeble.
Nah, he's got to retire at the end of the year.
Yeah, soon.
I think it's time for Zeeble to go
soon.
as well.
But again, who's replacing this guy, man?
Look, it doesn't matter. He has to go, man. We're just sick of seeing him play, man. Like, it's
I think
someone else needs to be given the reps that he gets.
How old is he? He's pretty old, bro.
I don't know, like 43. Like, he's just he takes too many disposals and too much experience points.
I agree with you, man.
Players,
but the one game we drop him, who's in his place? Lockie Young. What's the point?
Yeah. No,
if there was someone with actual potential there, then yeah. But like, he's not him. He's not it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Lazaro.
No.
Ben Mackay. Where's he going?
Probably Port Adelaide or Sydney.
Eddie Ford.
Keep.
Aiden Core.
Next.
See, that's
your defense is absolute shit.
It's woeful, bro.
It's filth.
Mackay and
I probably didn't realize how bad it is until I've looked at it.
Mackay and Logue are the only ones who you say, yep, they'd be on other teams. Every other player wouldn't be getting games.
Yeah, it's fair.
Facts.
Yeah.
Cooper Harvey, Nick Larkey, Flynn Perez.
Keep, get rid of.
Yep.
Darcy Tucker.
No, look, he's okay for experience.
Break glass in case of emergency.
Exactly, yeah.
Sheasel, we know. Lockie Young.
What's the point?
Paul Curtis,
Yeah.
Paul Curtis is
Keep
good.
Paul.
Stevenson,
Yes. He's been good this year.
Fantastic.
Callan Coleman Jones,
Yes. Keep.
Simkin Logue. All right, so there's what I don't know, 6 or 7 players that are just shocking.
And that's what I'm saying is like at the end of the year, they need to leave, trade, get in a few or free agent a couple guys and draft a few more good ones. And we are not that far away. I know it's bad. I'm complaining, but like we do have good players.
Oh,
But the bad ones are so bad, it's horrendous.
Yeah, I think there's about 4 or 5 players who are really the top liners. You know, when in a few years' time, Larky top liner, Sheasel, Wardlaw, LDU. There's so many top high end talents.
And we
need to take advantage of this time.
And can I say as well, I've famously been anti-Simpkin in the past. I've come around to him. But here's the reason why, because you do need A graders, like genuine A graders. You look at guys like LDU, as soon as Sheasel and Wardlaw come in the team, every North fan and the AFL ward's looking at it like, oh, okay. No one's been saying that about Simpkin all these years, even though he's won back-to-back Sid Barker medals.
There was a time where Simpkin was killing it and he was our main midfielder. But it was like 6 weeks. And that was it.
Yeah, but look at the difference of the elite talent.
Yeah, no, he's not elite. He's not elite.
That's
He's
what I'm saying.
He's fine.
We've got a couple...
And he took a long time as well.
Yeah.
Simpkin.
So he's fine. I'm not saying get rid of him, but we have lacked A-grade talent. We finally got a few now. We need a couple more. And there's just so much deadwood carrying this club down. I'm sick of it.
It's hard to get rid of those last... Like, Carlton has struggled to get rid of those bottom 6, though. The bottom 6, very hard to just get rid of, man.
And that's where I trust Clarko will find the right role players. Just quickly before we move on, there is a bit of talk picking up about priority pick again.
For North again.
For North again. Now, reason being, not just our form, because again, the justification of getting it last year, it's the same shit this year, but we have been unlucky with injuries this year again. LDU's been out, Simpkin concussed 3 times, Logue's just done his ACL, Mackay missed the first quarter of the season. It's not like we've had the full go at it and we're still bad. Like, not defending a lot of these players, obviously I've ranted about already, but it probably could have been a bit better, given a bit of unluckiness to some key senior poolers of our team. So, yeah, I'm just wondering what you guys think about that situation.
No.
You say no? Why?
Did you guys get one last year?
Yeah. But we had to trade it. We had to trade it and we got in Logan Tucker.
Our
What do you mean you had to trade it?
They gave us it with the asterisk, you have to trade it for players.
Yeah, because otherwise, it's either you've got pick. It was 2nd and a 3rd round pick. Use it, trade it. Otherwise, it's void. Basically.
Yeah, well, it still helped.
Yeah,
I think
it got us Logan Tucker. Honestly, I think we need an actual pick. Give us an actual pick. Like this
I don't know
time.
if I agree. Like, it wouldn't matter either way, but I think doing it this way doesn't hinder other teams because there's players that are wanting out are going to leave anyway. You might as well get a pick off North. So
Yeah, true. That's fair call.
I say give it. Everyone can get stuffed if they disagree, to be honest. Like, you watch a team win 3 games every year for 4 years and then tell me you don't want to
Look,
pick.
man, Carlton has been shit for 20 years. They never got a priority pick, so...
Well, you should have got one, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not a fan of it, but you know what? It's a thing.
Hey, now that our team can,
If it's a thing, give it to us. Like, I'm sorry, man. You watch this crap every week.
Dean wants out, bro. He used to stay here and watch North. We get to party in the sun.
No,
so.
no, true.
Right.
Fair enough. Give him his pick so he's not...
Give me my picks, man.
Give him his picks.
I'm a draft guy. Give my picks.
All right.
Sorry for draining it for everyone that doesn't care about North.
Next
but
game.
That was a long North segment.
I'm sorry. I had to get off my chest.
That's enough North for 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah, probably. Huh? All right. Bombers v Crows. Man, flowers to the Bombers.
I tipped the Bombers.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't.
They nearly beat Port, and I'm like, you know what, these guys can play. And they can. And Adelaide, the same old story, man. How many times are we going to say they can't win away from home? Another time, I guess, right now.
Yeah, no, they're look, I'll be honest, I didn't watch the game. I wasn't able to. I think I was working at the time. But yeah, Essendon, some of the top end talent on their team.
Yeah.
Like Merritt, I think, he's definitely the 2nd or 3rd best player this year. Like Dacos, and then it's him.
You think so?
Yes. Merritt, especially since I reckon maybe around 8, 9 or something like that, has gone crazy, man. Like he's consistently, huge amount of disposals, and he equips that with effective kicking as well. So it's just it's like Dacos, where it's a high accumulator but a really skillful ball user as well.
Yeah, I think he's taken the captaincy this year, and I think it's really helped. They took it off Heppel, and Heppel's one of those captains where it's like, all right, he was a good player for a long time, but now he's kind of the captain, and we kind of want to drop him, but he's the captain situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they've taken the captaincy off him, and he's actually performed to a higher standard than he has over the last couple of years, right? But if you look at their top ballers, Merritt Parish, Nick Martin, who's just turning into a monster.
Yeah.
Archie Perkins.
He was an SSP selection, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Nick Martin. That is the best value pick
Yeah. Amazing.
of all time.
Amazing.
Of all time. Tell me who's been a better value.
And this is what I mean by having a AFL skill and then work ethic. Like, this guy is quick and he's got good IQ and he's pretty
He
skillful.
kicks goals, man.
How did he slip?
He kicked 5 goals on debut.
It was I remember that. That was unbelievable, man. Good on A. Shout out to the Essendon team, selectors, organisers,
100%.
recruiters, whatever they call them these days. Whatever, you know.
They got some nice players, the Bombers. Like if Perkins is getting better and better, had a great year. McGrath's kind of just fine. I mean, he had 31 possessions off the halfback. I don't really notice him much, but he's obviously not a bad player. Peter Wright, really good pickup.
And you know what? Their high first round pick this year, probably one of the highest picks they've had for years, hasn't even played yet. Sardis could be a gun.
He's showing
And
some
Nick
good form.
Cox hasn't played either. Nick Cox, remember Nick Cox? The left foot winger?
Man, everyone used to froth Nick Cox because it was like this 200 centimeter dude who could run, and it was
Yeah.
like he was odd to watch, but you know, yeah, he was highly touted.
Ben Hobbs as well. And then
Yeah.
Kyle Langford, who I think you mentioned last week, another 3 goals straight. He was a first round draft pick midfielder.
All Australian squad.
Why not?
You heard it here. You heard it here first, man.
But don't
Shout
you
out
think
to
it's weird?
Theona.
Like, he was an All-Australian, sorry, not All-Australian, a first-round midfield pick years ago. Could never get his body right, Now he's come back and been a forward, and he's just plugged in a hole, and is benefiting the team massively. He's not playing midfield.
It's one of those ones. Sometimes the medium forward can be bad in the sense that they're not tall enough to take marks. They're not quick enough to play small. But then there's the good medium forward. And the good medium forward has elite IQ, knows where to be, and just becomes a nuisance for that reason. So I think, man, you can't ignore it. Every week you're looking at the scoreboard, he's kicked 2 or 3.
Well, that's it, man.
Got to respect it.
Someone's got to put the goals in, man. And
Yeah.
If that's him, you know, he should be up there. He should be getting that respect in the All Australian squad at least.
100%, man. I did want to mention as well. So I was watching this game, and in the third quarter, I must say the Crows gave it everything they had. They put Essendon under the pump, and then you look up at the end of the quarter, Essendon's won the quarter by a point.
Yeah.
That was where I thought, you know what, this team's legit.
They work hard, the Bombers. They can play pretty hard burst footy as well. But they did the damage in the first half. You know, I think the scoreboard actually is fluttering in the end.
Yes, it is in the end because, the Crows piled on a few late. I will say, we mentioned the Crows, their away form just not being good enough. I'm looking at their run home. They've got 4 of the next 6 games are at home, yeah? Now, one of them's against Port, so that's a tough one. Then we're thinking, okay, this week's the Giants. The other home games are against Sydney and the Suns. So they'll win a couple more. But then the way they're going, they're going to lose to the Lions at the Gabba, for example, Melbourne at the G. So tell you what, if they miss out on the 8, it's their own fault.
Yeah, because you got to be better. You know, you got to be better in both. You know, at every ground. You know,
100%.
I was telling this to a mate at work. It's almost like they need someone to hypnotize them. You know what I mean? Be like, this is the Adelaide Oval. This is the Adelaide. Seriously, just something. You know,
This is the best pocket.
this is the best. This is the best. See that pocket there? You know, it's they need to do something. Like, yeah.
I just wanted to say as well, if the finals did start this week, Bombers in 5th hosting the Cats. That's fun. And then Saints hosting the Dogs.
Bombers in 5th is the weirdest thing you've ever said, bro. That feels so off. Bombers in 5th.
Deserved, but deserved.
Hey,
And
there's-
speaking, you know what? Speaking of deserved, right? It's time, I think. Unless you guys really had some stuff to say, some important
Nah,
stuff.
you're good.
I think that there's some more important things to attend to. The last game of the round.
Da 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 da.
Louder.
Da 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 da. Hey. Da 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 da.
I said I'd G up if we won, man. I can't believe we actually won. I didn't even watch the game, bro.
Mate, you didn't just...
I didn't even watch. I was at Chadstone doing last minute shopping for suitcases, trying to buy shoes. Someone didn't teach me how to buy shoes, man. I can't find a white sneaker anywhere in Chatty. They're all just this messed up, weird ass hybrid sneaker. Shit at Chadston.
Just embrace it, man.
Man, honestly, in that.
Someone teach me to shop. But I wasn't watching. But anyway, I was at Chatty and I was like, oh, I wonder how the boys are doing. Check it on, and I see like Fremantle's on like 16 points. So you know when you see it on your phone, you can only see 16, and then you have to scroll down to see what Carlton is.
This is fan footy, by the way.
Yeah, this is fan footy, which is the only place to watch get any football content. And then I scroll down, I'm like, oh, 16, that seems a bit low. That must mean Carlton's 55. And then I'm like, oh, we've done it. And then I check my messages, and all my Carlton mates are like, bro, what's this?
Good football.
I don't think any of them were even watching. They just expected a loss.
You were up 84-20 at 3/4 time.
We sloshed them. Use another word. We slapped them. We served them on a platter.
You monstered them.
Yeah, we monstered them.
I'll tell you what, the top Carlton performance here, as per fan footy, is a sight to behold. Yeah, Walsh, Mackay, Cripps, Newman, Doherty, Chera, Kennedy, Sard, Kerno, Akers. Everyone just stood up, man.
Yeah, no, we just destroyed them. The weirdest thing is we didn't have a ruckman up against Darcy and the curly head guy. And then what I'm saying is we had Silvani.
He had 2 hit-outs, bro.
Silvani had 2 hit-outs and Young.
10 hit-outs.
10 hit-outs against like 60 hit-out Sean Darcy.
58.
And we won all the contested ball.
It meant nothing. Yeah. Ruckman don't matter, apparently.
But how did we win that game, bro? We didn't just win. We smashed them. And we smashed Gold Coast and we smashed the Hawks. And what I'm saying is the Blues are back. That you can't smash 3 teams like that so convincingly with our midfield just clapping them that hard. We're back, bro. And you know, we're gonna beat Port. And I'll tell you why we're gonna beat Port. I want to be on the plane not watching it. And they're going to win. They're going to win while I can't see it. Because that's what they are.
We'll get back to that in a second. Everyone that's watching this podcast, Carlton fan or not, go to your kitchen right now, open the cupboard, get every pot, throw the lid off.
Yeah, the lid's off.
Throw it in the bin. Lids are off.
Look, it's actually doable. It's actually doable. 1 win out.
You know what? I'm looking at your fixture right here.
It's not just that we won. Like we've won our last 3 games so convincingly out of the middle. Yeah. The boys are on. Walsh is on. Cripper's back. Kennedy's a monster.
Well,
Chera, the first time they've gone Chera, like, oh, could Chera be an All-Australian, you know?
Yeah, Chera is, he's a
You're going to have to earn it in the next 3 weeks, yeah?
And you have to earn it. Like, I'm not expecting to get in without earning it, right? So, there's Port, there's Collingwood in there, there's Melbourne in there.
The next 3 weeks is Port, Eagles, Collingwood.
Yeah, we've got to win 2 of those.
Got to win 2.
So, I think Port is the one we need to win. It's at home. They're due for a loss. And I think our midfield can match it with them. And we've got momentum. Well, they do too. But I don't think we can beat Collingwood. I just don't think we can beat Collingwood. It's just Collingwood.
It's the mental edge.
Yeah, we can't do it. But I think we can beat Port, then beat West Coast, lose to Collingwood, and then whoever's next.
Interesting.
You got to beat Port though. You got to beat Port. If you don't beat Port, don't even show up.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it. It's too late.
It's interesting as well because the last 3 games are sort of increased in difficulty. You've passed every test, like you said.
I didn't expect to pass this test, but we didn't just pass it, man. But you know the most annoying thing? We lost so many games. Every subpar challenge that we had this year after like West Coast was a loss. We lost against all of them. I think we lost 6 in a row, and we also lost 2 games before the West Coast one. So 8, like we're talking like Adelaide, Bulldogs, Essendon, Collingwood, whoever else was around that mark, we lost. Say we win 2 of those games, 2 out of 8, then we're like 5th at the moment. Like, how can you let the season slip that badly, man?
It'll be your own fault
if Carlton won half of those, we'd be like as supporters, at the time we would have been a little bit disappointed that we're not winning more, right? Because we were on a roll and we thought we were something this year. Just win half and we're probably top 4. That's how stupid the situation we are in.
It was the way you lost as well. A lot of those games was just
not even scoring 50
nothing.
Points.
Yeah, if you were in some really cracking games and just fell short, it wouldn't be so negative.
It's almost like we've done our absolute best to not make finals, and then there's a last final hope of a couple of games to try and make it happen. Like, come on, bro.
I'll tell you what, though, your percentage is more or less equal.
And we have West Coast.
Actually, your percentage is better currently than Essendon's in 5th. It's better than the Saints. It's better than the Dogs.
And we have West Coast.
And you've got West Coast.
So
to
West
boost
Coast
that.
we should win by West Coast by 60 points minimum.
So you guys at least will have that percentage, advantage over about 3 teams in the 8. That's something. Yeah, that's an entire win.
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
Oh, look, we'll see what happens, man. But it'll be disappointing at the end of the year.
We're going to beat Port Adelaide. We'll see what happens.
Look, you can't expect Carlton to beat Port, but I just feel like if there's one team to do it right now, it'd just be hilarious if it's Carlton.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's something to be.
And I'll tell you what, Walsh against Rosie and Butters
Ooh.
in the same draft. Walsh got to show him his top dog.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to puff out the chest. We'll see what happens.
Fair
But
enough.
yeah, look, Carlton's pressure has been really, really, really good over the last couple of weeks. And the game against Freo, it wasn't even like a transition game. It was kind of just like a wrestling match. People were like throwing each other, picking it up, kicking it up in the sky, trying to mark it, throwing each other to the ground. It was just really hard contested. And they just said, you know what, we're going to find a way to do it. Mm. And the other thing is Newman has come back over the last couple of weeks. Very clearly an important player because he was injured for a couple of weeks and we're just not performing. So kind of a rando, but clearly important. Our best players are back. Like Wiedering's playing really good football again. Mackay's kind of got his form back. Kerno's always been good. Chera's always been good. Walsh and Cripps are back. They just got a bit of that kind of grunt back. So we'll see.
Nice. I reckon before we head on to the tips, I love doing a little segment. Really should have done it earlier in the show as well, but better late than never, I reckon. So we're gonna do. Guess how did I word it last time? Just so I could out of consistency.
I think you said, "Give me those TikTok views."
Give me those TikTok views. Guess the stat leaders. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do guess the stat leaders, and we're gonna do. Let's have a little look. We're gonna go with. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that stat. There was one that I was looking at earlier. Yeah, we'll do this one. We're gonna do tackles. So
Ooh, okay.
for Western Bulldogs.
Libba.
Incorrect.
Who tackles more than Libba, bro?
Bond?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bont is that boy now, man. He's angry.
He does
and he's
everything.
tackling. Yeah.
Anytime it's Bulldogs, just say Bont.
Yeah, true. But Libba wasn't that far away though. All right. Geelong.
Blitzers?
Blitzer for tackles.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he tackles.
No.
Tom Atkins.
Tom Atkins.
Yeah, well done, boys. Well done, boys. All right. How about the Sydney Swans?
Parker.
No.
Oh, Rowbottom.
Yeah. There we go. This guy, dude knows his stats, man. All right. We're going to go with Brisbane.
Dunkley.
Well done.
Has to be
boys.
Dunkley.
Yeah. All right. How about St Kilda?
Jack Crouch.
Jack Steele.
It was Brad Crouch.
Oh, okay.
Which feels wrong. That
feels
wrong.
about right to me.
No, it's disgusting. He's, you know what? Steele's literally 3 off. So, how
He's missed
about
footy as well. Steele's a great tackler.
yeah?
Okay.
How about Port Adelaide?
Don't tell me it's like a Pow Pepper. I'll lose my mind.
No,
JHF?
no.
JHF.
He's
No.
he's got a ferocious
Butters?
tackle on him.
What's that?
Butters?
No,
Why did JHF get that reaction? He's a good tackler, bro.
Wines?
no, not Wines.
Bro, the Port one's a weird one. I don't
What
know,
about Dersma?
Dersma.
Why
He's
not?
a completely uncontested
Bro,
player.
Dersma's not even playing footy.
Willem Drew?
Yes,
that was going to be my next one.
Dersma. Look at
I'm
this
getting
dude.
roasted here,
Bro,
guys. Give me a
Dersma's
break.
not playing
Deserved.
footy. Dersma, this guy hasn't even watched a Port game ever.
No, I don't.
Oh, jeez. All right. Next team, we'll go with West Coast.
Jimby.
Yes. Well done. Well done.
What's he-
He's the only guy that tackles on that team.
Yeah. All right. How about Collingwood?
Ooh, this is an interesting one.
Tom Mitchell?
Yes.
Oh,
This has been too easy. This has been too easy. Like it's not.
There's the clear tackler, yeah.
Yeah. Melbourne.
Viney.
Yeah. This is too easy. Let's do another. We're gonna do another stat just to make it a little bit more difficult because you guys are just.
I'm proud of the row bottom one.
Yeah. No. I
That's
would
probably
be
the
too.
cheek. That's
You
the
should be
cheek.
proud, George.
I would
Thank
be
you.
too.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
Thank you, boys.
I'm very proud of you, lads. All right, you know what? Here we're gonna do something a bit different. We're gonna do guess the stat leaders, but you're gonna tell me the top 10, right? So we're gonna go with kicks. Name me a player.
Dacos.
As in total kicks for the season.
Yes, total kicks for
Oh.
the season. Dacos, correct. He's
Luke-
number 7.
Luke Ryan.
Let me finish what I was gonna say.
Sorry, bro. I'm antsy.
See, you know, look at this guy. Dude's thirsty, man. Nick Dacos is 7th.
Okay. Luke Ryan.
Luke Ryan is number 1.
Jordan Dawson.
Jordan Dawson is number 5.
Sicily.
Sicily is not in the top 10.
Ooh, too many injuries or suspensions.
Yeah. Tom Stewart.
Tom Stewart is number 8.
Lloyd.
Lloyd is not in the top 10.
So how many have we got so far?
You have... I don't even know. I can't...
It's hard to track.
Yeah, no, it is hard to track. You got 4 of them so far.
What about a bit of a smoky Dan Houston?
Nah, not.
He's a bit more of a
enough.
handball guy.
No.
Yeah.
Laird. Too many handballs.
No.
Who gets a lot of the ball? Petrarca.
No.
Who's the kick-in merchants at the moment?
Yeah, actually, that's a good one.
Wangan Milera?
Yes. Number 6.
Oh, wow, that's
Okay,
nice.
okay.
Caleb Daniel.
No.
What about Nick? Nick Blackie's missed a few games. Is he on the list? No.
I don't know. We just started naming players, I guess.
Yeah.
Does it have to be Backman? I wonder.
What about Petrarca?
No, I said Petrarca.
No.
Oh, you said him.
One of them specifically I find really interesting. Actually, there's a few. There's a couple really interesting ones.
We're on the right track.
Yeah, you are. You are. All right.
We've got about half.
I think I'm going to have to start giving you guys hints. So we're going to go with a dude who's one of the better wing players, I would say, in the game. He plays in New South Wales.
A wing in New South Wales.
Yeah. He's a deadly kick. One of Georgie's favourites.
Josh Kelly.
No.
Swans or Giants?
Swans.
Campbell?
No.
Oh, Goulden.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the Goulden makes sense. That's,
Yeah,
Goulden is number 4.
yeah, we should have picked Goulden.
All right. A teammate of Wanganeen Malera.
Sinclair.
Yes, number 3 is Sinclair.
Oh, wow, okay.
That makes sense. You just listed how many disposals he's getting. And
Yeah.
he's a big kick player.
Yeah. Now we'll go with a Essendon player.
Merritt.
No.
Redmond?
Yes.
Mm.
Mason Redmond.
Makes sense.
And now there's 2 more players, right? One Gold Coast player.
Lukosius.
No.
I like the guess, though.
Anderson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Noah Anderson.
Noah
He
Anderson.
gets a lot of the ball.
He's number 9. for
Kicks, though. I like it, yeah.
And Redmond was number 10. I don't know if I said
Makes
that.
sense because Raul does all the dirty work and he kicks it.
Mm.
Well, he
Alright.
still does dirty work.
Not,
But
as, not as dirty as
he's
Raul.
he's more of a kicker than a handballer.
Raul's dirtier, though.
All right, last one plays for North Melbourne.
She's.
No.
Ooh.
Zeeble.
Yes,
Zeeble,
Zeeble. And that's why he needs to retire because he's taking too many
seagull.
kicks.
Yeah.
He's taking too many kicks from other players.